And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 171st episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, ALLin, and we've got a great show for you tonight. I'm reporting live from the PulseChain Tour Meetup in Las Vegas, and it's been already a blast hanging out with everybody in person, getting to feel all the energy of this bull market that's happening in crypto in real life. So tonight's show, you're going to tell me if the audio sounds good. Thanks to everybody watching live. Hitting the like and subscribe button right now really helps the algorithm. But yeah, we got the topic of Richard Hart coming out more bullish than I've ever seen him. We're going to do some throwbacks to why this tweet that he put out today is the most important financial tweet of the decade. So again, thanks for being here. You're in the right place. Welcome to HEX Therapy Live.
It's from ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Matty. Matty tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man.
ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.
All right, so the energy in Las Vegas at the PulseChain Tour Meetup has been really incredible. Last night, everybody got together for the first night to go to Top Golf. And I think a lot of people spent much more time talking to each other and being excited about meeting YouTubers in real life, myself included. I really enjoy hanging out with people who I watch their channels. I see them in the comments. I see them on Twitter. And so it's been really exciting. I definitely got to talk to a lot of really cool people last night. So shout out to everybody who participated. I believe that the seminar coming up tomorrow is going to involve about 120 people in person. So that's pretty exciting. And I want to give a huge shout out to the people who have been planning this event. Black Hexagon, A Wild SJ, RG3, Dollar Cost Crypto, and Cultivate Crypto have all done a spectacular job. So shout out to everybody who put this event on. You know, people know that the reason why, the reason why I'm so excited to attend is that sometimes I'm the one planning the events and it's a totally different experience. And so I'm really thankful whenever people who are trusted in the community are able to put on events. And we've had events put on by people who were very untrustworthy in the past. So I'm glad to see things are better in that department. And so, yeah, really excited to have been here. I didn't get to take enough pictures with people, but you can see we had a bunch of smiling faces, and we got A Wild SJ put out a video like thanking everybody and kind of talking about what the first night was like. So definitely go check that out, and shout out to everybody who has been hanging out. So basically, there's nothing better than an in-person meetup for crypto. I started going to meetups back when Bitcoin was in its first bear market in 2018. I went to a Bitcoin meetup in Las Vegas, and there have been countless meetups since then. I am doing a HEX meetup at the Bitcoin conference this year for the third year in a row. The last two times we did it in Miami because that's where the Bitcoin conference was. This year, they're moving the Bitcoin conference to Nashville, which a lot of people agree is an amazing city to visit. And so if you're in HEX or PulseChain or watching YouTube, or a person who visits the United States, you could come to the HEX meetup at the Bitcoin conference. I'll be putting out more details about that in my blog post in the future here. Awesome. And shout out to everybody watching live on chat. So, wow, 183 people watching live. I know the other day we had some kind of false numbers reported, but that's okay. It was a good practice run for when we will have thousands of people watching. By the way, if you're running a Twitter bot army and you're trying to help us, that could actually put us at risk. because I certainly am not asking anybody to run a bot army in my favor. Although I appreciate the sentiment, I would prefer people just let the views be organic, and make sure, remember, do not break the rules of Twitter, lest ye will be banished into lesser social media platforms. And we don't want that, because Twitter is the main place for financial information these days, especially with crypto. So yeah, thank you for having your bot armies out there, but just don't point them at my stuff, because I don't want to get banned. All right, cool. So, all right, I had a big moment today because I was thinking back to, like, what was it that excited me the most when I got started in crypto? And it was when the price of 1 Bitcoin exceeded the price of 1 ounce of gold. And that was back in June-ish of 2017, right before Bitcoin went from, I don't know, $1,500 or $2,500. I wasn't checking the price that often. I didn't care that much about crypto at the time, but crypto got on my radar at that point, and I started dollar cost averaging in with my pitiful amount of money that I had, like all along that Bitcoin cycle of 2017, up to $20,000 Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did a 10x after I noticed it got on my radar because it passed the price of gold. Now, I also noticed today that the price of 1 acre of land, according to Google, the average US farm estate value is the same price as Ethereum today. And so I kind of jokingly put that as a tweet. I mean, there's nothing magical about 1 ounce of gold. There's nothing magical about 1 acre of farmland, but it's just, it's just something that reinforces the other things that we know, that, any investment is a meme, and different things produce different yield, and there's, humans have to agree on something having a value for it to have a value, and all that good kind of stuff. The average acre of land, like, there were other numbers that didn't match 3,800, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, what's $3,800? And I was thinking, I wonder if it's an acre of land. And it was exactly the price. I think in some places, farmland or regular land can be like $16,000 per acre, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so even though I didn't ask Google, like, a biased question, like, hey, is this 3,800? It just happened to be. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting. That's something to help you mentally frame what could happen. It's not a guarantee. I'm not responsible for your financial decisions. This is not financial advice. It's what I'm getting excited about, is this comparison that I'm making. So when Ethereum, when and if it does a 10x from here, I'll be able to look back, and I'll be able to point to this stream and this day and this tweet, and I'll be like, hey, remember when Ethereum flipped the price of gold, or flipped the price of an acre of land, just like Bitcoin flipped an ounce of gold? And someday maybe Pulse will reach penny parity or dollar parity, right? Maybe it'll flip those landmarks. So hey, how about that? That'd be pretty cool. So 293 people watching now, supposedly. I guess I should look on YouTube to see what the non-inflated number is. Inflation, it hits you in all different ways. Okay, we got 113 people watching on YouTube. That's solid. And welcome to everybody who is here. Thanks for being here. Gold and land price are milestones. Absolutely, Glenn. Shout out to you. Okay, so what are we really here for is to hear this speculation about Richard Hart being the most bullish we've seen in a long time. Yesterday, he was posting about about not bragging for so long, about not outrage marketing, kind of framing it in a certain way of like, do you really want me to be humble still? Because, and the rest was implied. But, I think there are different ways to interpret, RH is twerking as a top signal, people dancing on caskets of like imaginary people who were furus in crypto. There are different markers of, I guess, euphoria. There are different markers of the top, right? But I think we're a long way from there. I could be wrong, but hey, here's what Richard is saying today in his tweet. And he was alluding to this in several tweets earlier today. He says, I think the Ethereum price is going to go up. I think the Bitcoin price is going to go up. I think ETH will go up more than BTC. I literally remember back when HEX was so cheap, I didn't even know how many zeros it had in front of it. And I remember, it's like a flashbulb memory where I remember exactly where I was driving in my car, listening to an RH live stream when I heard him say, this is back in 2019 or 2020. He said that he thinks Bitcoin is going to go up so much. I think he was predicting then that it would go up to like 65, 69K. He was predicting that Ethereum would outpace that and that HEX would outpace that. It was a very powerful statement. And I remember hearing that, and I remember planning accordingly. I remember selling some of my very hard-earned Bitcoin for HEX. And that ended up working out super, super well. Not only because I kept a small percentage liquid to which I could dollar cost average out over time once the price, once the top signals were started, once Richard called the top and up until he called the top on other assets. That was a good indicator. And then I also was able to time lock a bunch of HEX, and my average stake length is just over 12 and a half years. So that is an incredible opportunity that now we're going to see how it works out. And here I am showing up week after week for 170 something weeks straight. It says 171 here. Yeah. Streak. That's a streak. That's every Tuesday and Thursday night without missing one. So Richard, he's bringing up all these fond memories I have of seeing the future before it happens in this tweet. And so I don't know how I could be more clear. I don't know how he could be more clear. I have labeled this tweet right here as the most important financial tweet of this decade. The entire 2020s. This I'm calling it as this. I could be wrong. We're going to wait and see. We're all going to be here for enough years that we'll find out, right? But I just see so much of history rhyming. And we know how history worked out well for people who listened to Richard about crypto in the past. Maybe save some of the twerking time. But look, if you dollar cost average in, I think the way that Sami presents things is, is worthwhile. But I think there's a very different story that you can see with Ben Sierra's data. And so if you go and look, and I'm not aware that Sami's reported on this, so I think he just doesn't have all the information. But if you go and look at the stream that I did with Ben Sierra last week, it's incredible. There is new data that we've never had before that makes me extremely bullish on HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. I do think Sami's, and so basically what I'm saying is his analysis of doing this mental math that somebody who bought the top, where they would be now compared to buying the top in other things. Well, HEX went up more than everything, and few people bought the top. And we have a distribution graph of how many people bought at every single price point at 40 cents, 41, 42, 43, all the way down to like 0.00. You can see the distribution of where people bought at. And so the way that he's framing what we're seeing is it's not been what people experienced, which makes sense because if we really were down more, if we, and not just these few people who bought the top and didn't DCA, if we, the majority of people who bought, were down 99% worse than Terra Luna and everything that failed, yeah, it would be a different story. And that's not the story that we see right now. I do think Sami's analysis about the fact that the real sacrifice was that the Ethereum fees were too high. And so the price potential of HEX kind of had to be sacrificed, even though we didn't know that it would be, by creating PulseChain, by creating PulseX. It was necessary because HEX would have failed in a super high fee environment that we might be going into here on Ethereum. So that's a really cool point that is, I think, really helpful. But I don't think you have the full picture until you take Ben Sierra's data into account, because him and Crispy Man are the two who have pulled the most data off the chain out of anybody. And yeah, my stream with Ben is outstanding. You should go back and watch it. It's the one that says like $27 billion in the thumbnail or something. It's not hard to find. So Richard, he's saying he thinks ETH will go up more than BTC. Boom, check this next part out. He says, I think PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, and Inc. can go up more than both of them. Inc. already did a 19x in 3 months. Not financial advice. Past performance is no guarantee of the future. And then he posts these sexy charts here. This is at the same time that we're seeing the sacrifice address, the OA, whatever you want to call it. We're seeing these addresses buying over 100,000 Ethereum with the stable coins that they've been holding. And then you have somebody linking up a clip of what Richard said in the Christmas episode that he did, that he pre-recorded, and he had like a blank background so people could meme it. I like a green screen in the back, kind of. It was like drapes or something weird. But basically, there were some hints in there that now, if we look back, make a little bit more sense about how he said, when you have billions of dollars, then you can't mess up. And I think what that means is that you can't exactly buy the bottom. You have to wait to buy the middle, kind of. And that might be what we've seen. But again, because Ethereum has so much potential here, because Ethereum might have the potential to do a 5x or 10x or something, whether there's ETF approval, whether there's infinite money printing, whether Ethereum just continues to work as it has, charging people high fees and burning all this ETH, getting people to do liquid staking derivatives and that sort of thing. There's just really a lot of potential. And so, yeah, that's pretty exciting to see this, this giant whale on Ethereum, you know, might be linked to the sacrifice or whatever it is. But those funds that we have no expectations of, we still like watching whales. Like, we like watching the real God whale. We like watching the Ethereum Genesis whales, what they do on chain, because crypto markets are transparent, unlike legacy markets. And so that's really cool. It's really cool to be able to see, hey, this address has this history, and they've been right so much that they have hundreds of millions of dollars. That's pretty cool. What's up, Johnny? Good to see you there. All right. So again, this Richard Hart tweet, probably the most important finance tweet of the decade. We will see if my prediction that it is turns out. I think if PulseChain and PulseX did 100x or 1000x, I think that would break everybody's minds, even the people who thought it was possible. I think it would just melt reality. I think that PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, and Inc., they could be in the top 10 of crypto this cycle. I don't know if they will be, but hey, I think we have a shot. It doesn't really matter how many people are buying now. It matters how many people are buying whenever everything else is worth the maximum it's going to be worth. Why do you see that altcoins typically top out a couple weeks or a month after Bitcoin tops out? Well, that's because lots of people are rotating into alts to get their final, kick. And so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I understand like giving high possibilities, giving high predictions. People could criticize that as dopamine dealing. I mean, I'm just telling you what I've experienced. I experienced a 1000x in HEX, and I would not have experienced that without time locking, because I would have sold on a double or sold on a double, etc., etc. So that is why I invented Time Pays Me. I have to plug that too, because it's such a cool tool that gives you strong hands. It allows you to be able to undo a hack if you set up a second seed phrase. It has the low fee of 0.1%, which is 3 times cheaper than doing a swap. So very cool that you can go to timepays.me and you can send money to your future self. You can prepare to undo a hack, and you can, by setting up a second seed phrase. And the third thing you can do is pay yourself for healthy behaviors, because as people create a savings that creates sudden wealth syndrome, or that allows them to be financially free, you're going to need smart contract tools in order to become the healthiest version of yourself, or at least most people would. If you win the lottery every day, you're going to have trouble adjusting. That's for sure. So here's the tweet. I'm going to drop it in the chat. You can retweet it if you also think that this is the most important financial tweet of the decade. Can't highlight that enough. All right, what are we saying in the comments here? So with your T-shares, you can claim COM token, which is worth about $5 per T-share, something like that. And so that's really cool. That's a free, ongoing free claim, and you can use hexcommunity.com to claim it. You can join my Telegram, which is free, and I post in there almost every day to give you alpha. It's called t.me/smartvaultme. I'm surprised I haven't lost my voice yet. Maybe I'm starting to, but I've been talking so much to people. Whenever we do crypto meetups, it's there's lots of background noise, and so you're talking at full volume for hours on end. Hextra T-shares, what is up? Is it really happening? Indeed. Audio is good. Thank you. Thank you, 43OG. Good to see you there. Clintrons, what's up? Thanks for streaming, Maddie. My pleasure. Wouldn't break this streak for anything. Out here in the desert, got to stay hydrated, eh? Shout out to my Hex and PLS fam. I'll be joining you soon. Hey, that's great, Ovidian. Enjoy yourself, Maddie. You've earned it. Appreciate it. It's yeah, it's great attending an event. I gave out a bunch of T-shirts last night from the first Hex meetup that we ever did in Vegas. We had 369 people. We had Kareem and Wales only. That was for, wait, no, that was for the Hex conference. We've done 2 major meetups. I still hold the record for the largest Hex meetup of all time. We had 600 people come out in March 6th through 9th. So this is 2 years later. We did that in 2022. And during one of those meetups, Kareem and I were on top of a tank, and we drove it over. We crushed a car that said high fees on it. It actually had a license plate that said high fees, because we knew PulseChain was coming. We knew it was needed for the success of Hex. And we knew that Ethereum, it's got a problem that's not going away. So that's a really cool memory. I'll have to throw up some video footage of that. And, maybe we can get Kareem on the show sometime soon. I know people have been asking for him. Also, hey, another suggestion that I got from talking to people in real life was that this channel should have more clips. And so if you're out there and you know how to use AI, or you want to learn, if you want to teach yourself, I would love it to have more people contributing as volunteers to create clips. And yeah, just try to link back to the full episode when you can, and go for it. I think I might try my hand at using AI to do clips, but we'll see. Sounds like so much fun. That's right. That's right. And speaking of fun, I got to hang out last night with Hexy Bastard and Dollar Cost Crypto and a bunch of other really cool people. Kenneth, and yeah, so that was a blast. Very, very cool. And some new people that I met. What's up, Maddie? I'll be in Nashville for the conference. Looking forward to it. All right, let's go. Bitcoin 2024. We really had a huge impact last year. As I said, we've been there the past 2 years. This will be the third year we're crashing their event. And back in 2022, the Bitcoin event in Nashville, like that's when I met B-Roots and Mike, the investor, and a number of other, like Ian, a bunch of very cool people that are, you know, getting the word out about PulseChain and HEX, which is really cool. That was the event in Miami that was, I think the most people who have gone to a crypto conference, just about. There were like 20,000 people there. And then fast forward to the next year when I met Tiffany Fong, and oh, hey, by the way, Ben Armstrong was there last night and he was awesome. I got to talk to him for a minute. He invited me on his channel, and I'm really excited that he's promoting HEX and PulseChain now. But yeah. So I was posting to Tiffany Fong today. I was like, hey, remember when the price of Bitcoin last year was down 60% year over year, and the attendance at the Bitcoin conference was down 80%. Well, HEX went down more than that. And why is our attendance at events only going up? Why are we all still here? And so I invited her to watch the Highest of Stakes documentary and put a teaser clip in there that I found where Big Kurkowski is explaining something, and then Richard is explaining T-shares for once. And yeah, so hopefully we'll incept her and everybody else. I mean, that is what a vampire attack looks like, is you give people the information and they might realize that they can get a better deal by coming over to Team Win. I know my arms were broken last year at the Bitcoin conference. That was in May when we did the 48-hour live stream during the Bitcoin conference. And so I didn't go out to the parties, but a lot of Hexicans came to the event. We had like 70 people come, and they went out and spread the good word of PulseChain and HEX. That was the weekend that PulseChain launched. Richard seemed to be watching the live stream and commenting on things. So what I'm saying is we have been building momentum at the Bitcoin conference. And last year, RG3 and I think Access Live and all these other people, all these main figures in the HEX community all showed up. They went to these after parties. They hung out with Eric Wall and BitBoy and Altcoin Daily and all these people that you see starting to show some respect, starting to get on Team Win. So how cool is that? That over time we keep drawing more and more people in because of our consistency, because people see us as the community with the most staying power. Maybe that has something to do with time locking. Maybe people will figure that out someday. But for now, they're just going to be trickling in slowly and then all at once. So yeah, Bitcoin conference. I'll put the word out about that. Just keep watching for my tweets and thumbnails. Usually if I have a really important announcement to make, I'll try to throw it in the thumbnail or the title of YouTube. So if you're ever gone for weeks and you want to come back and figure out what happened or what's happening in the future, you can just scroll through my my live stream titles and thumbnails, and you can kind of figure out what what you missed without having to watch a 2-minute clip or a 2-hour video or lots of 2-hour videos. Love your streams, Maddie. Hey, I appreciate it, David. Yeah, everybody hit the like button, especially on Twitter, and reposted it out. That helps. This was twisting my view on reality. I thought we were bearish on the economy. Yeah, I mean, look, the financial news system tends to lie to people. I remember when I got fudded out of my Facebook stocks that I bought on the IPO day. Again, I was poor. It wasn't that much, but I mean, I would have gotten a 20x, but I believed the FUD that Facebook was never going to figure out how to go mobile. What? Like, do not listen to the financial news people that are incentivized to lie to you. It's very important in financial media to understand the incentives of people. My incentive, my bias is I'm here for 12.5 years. And so hopefully I didn't get it wrong. But that's why it's so important to do your own research and take your own responsibility, which is not necessarily the name of the game in legacy finance per se, because they have financial advisors getting paid huge sums of money and giving trash gains. All right. What would you trade for a T-share? I would trade time and, you know, savings. Great question. I think at that time I was saying I would never trade, giving up my streak if I didn't have to. 7 acres of land. Boom. I still want to see RH live on a stream because there's no proof he's even alive. I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, the last time Richard was live, he was on this channel. It was on January 9th, 2023. So about 14 months ago, something like that. Yeah, I mean, hey, I love, you know, holding the title of the last person to stream live with RH. But I too wish that he will start streaming again if that's what's right for him and if that's what's right for you know, the ecosystem and everything. He doesn't work for us. We just really like having him around. Oh, and like, remember, he's always been here. Like, he uploaded a video for Christmas. That was not that long ago. And I think it'll make his message more powerful when he does come out. And, you know, people who don't like waiting, you know, they can find the exit orderly. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, that sort of thing. But you could let the slippage hit you, if you know what I mean. It was a real pleasure meeting you yesterday, Maddie. I felt very welcomed by you and the others. Thank you. Great to see that you're the real deal. Easy to see why RH praises your work. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciated meeting people. As I said, in real life, it was fun talking to people, and I can't get enough of it. I wish I could have more time to chat with people, and I think over time we will. This statement sounds just as relevant today. That's right. RH predicted before Bitcoin would go up. Basically, Bitcoin beats the dollar. Ethereum beats Bitcoin. HEX and everything else that RH made beats Ethereum. What else do you need to know? Stop picking up pennies in front of freight trains and get on Team Win. And if you don't think you can hold through mad gains, well, take a little percentage of what you've got in Pulse and PulseX and time lock it in timepays.me. That will that'll give you the strongest hand smart contract over being just strong. What is up, Crypto King? Great to see you. So Richard didn't buy ETH until it was 4x from the bottom. LOL, FOMO, top a buyer. We will see, my friend. We will see. I beg to differ, but hey, there you go. If you want to believe that, then that's your right. I mean, he posted today kind of a response to that sentiment. He said, you know, if you look at what Bitcoin did above its previous all-time high last cycle and what Ethereum did above its previous all-time high in the last cycle, buying at the previous all-time high is a great strategy when there are not dips. I'll pull up that tweet here. In a market with no dips, buying the top is buying the dip. How did Wall Street buy all your Bitcoin and Ethereum bags from you? It looks like they dollar cost averaged in over time. Only 22 to 23% dips in BTC, exclamation mark. Look at this, exclamation mark. Ethereum, quite few dips too. Report the imposters. Now, look, that's really important. Report the imposters part. Somebody the other day in the past week has lost $250,000 by clicking on a fake RH account saying that they're doing a giveaway. This is somebody from our community who lost $250,000 worth of Pulse and PulseX, etc. because of Twitter. And hey, I need your guys' help. We need to find somebody who works at Twitter. And I need to get in touch with them because I think that they've mislabeled the PulseChain conference account. We used to be approved as a verified organization. We had badges that allowed everybody, including Richard and 30 other people, to, you know, be able to identify, basically to be able to overcome the imposters. Now we have real financial harm coming. And yeah, I think the reason why they flagged the account was basically having to do with accidentally adding somebody to the badge program who had retweeted too many times, which is what a bot does and what a scammer does before they change their name on an account. And so I think the Twitter algorithm just messed up. I think it was trying to find cases where people were misusing the verified organization system. And in this case, we weren't. So I think this can get worked out. I don't think that there's any agenda against us because the HEX badges continue to work and people are using that to beat the imposters and to protect their audience as much as possible. But at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself. And it's not Twitter's job, and it's, you know, it's not my job to make sure that you don't get tricked. And I know in this, you know, high information world, that scammer who got $250,000, now they get to up their game and go after more people, unfortunately, because they got such a huge payday. So if we don't stop this problem every way that we can, then the problem's going to keep getting worse because the scammers will be well funded. So Richard has been posting, watch out for the imposters in the thread. And I want you to be aware of that and to let other people know because people are going to keep getting picked off more and more. And we're going to keep doing our best to help people with that, to raise awareness and to get the PulseChain conference badges back as a verified organization on Twitter. $1 Pulse coming soon. Maddie, the HEX therapist, enjoyed your stream with KDP. Hey, by the way, I did a stream about sudden wealth syndrome with KDP 2 days ago. Go check it out. It was a great stream. I really appreciate KDP for having me on. And we just had a great conversation. I don't think I can cover all of what we talked about here tonight. So go check out that stream. It is still fresh. Which one is the Ben Sierra episode? So if I go to my YouTube, it is going to be this one right here. The title is New HEX Data with Ben Sierra Pro. and the thumbnail says new HEX data. Ha ha. Rich tells story of buying BTC at $30, then writing it down. ... Serial 2 buyer. I think you mean top buyer. Hey, it could be. Who knows? And he does tell that story. However, I think this is why he made a more clear tweet to actually tell you what he's saying, is that he thinks the price of Ethereum is going to go up, Bitcoin up. I'm going to keep saying this because I want you to remember where you were when you heard from Richard Hart, when you heard from Maddie ALLin, when you heard from, a carrier pigeon, whatever it is. The prediction is that Bitcoin will do better than the dollar. Ethereum will do better than Bitcoin. HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, and Inc. will do better than Ethereum. There you have it, folks. So this thumbnail here is Sun Well Syndrome, but that's not the KDP episode. The KDP episode is on her channel. So we've been hitting that topic in multiple areas here. All right, Johnny Chaos, you're sharing a YouTube link. Maybe that's the KDP episode, or maybe that's something else that you're sharing that's helpful. And Crypto King is sharing the episode. My StreamYard was lagging. All right, Crypto King, thanks for sharing that as well. When no one else is pumping, we are going to pump harder than Johnny Sins. Okay. Johnny's the GOAT. Johnny Chaos, they may be referring to. Multiple Johnnies being mentioned here in the comments. Is PulseChain Network on Tangent wallet? I don't know. Haven't used that one myself. I have a link for a Trezor in the description below. I would recommend that if you're storing thousands of dollars or more of crypto. I think that okay, so somebody says that they're not blocked right now. Hopefully that's the case. I heard that there was some blockings happening by one of my mods, and I looked into it because I valued the Tang Gang, and I learned that a mod had been timing people out because of things that they were saying to be hurtful, and so that's kind of like, that's kind of where I draw the line. I want people to still be able to comment if they're being helpful and not hurtful. So you don't have to block somebody or mute them as a moderator just because they're being hurtful. But if they're taking the attack too far, then it's your best judgment. And look, I cared enough about Tang Gang to look into it, and I'm giving feedback to the moderators to try to moderate a little bit less if you can. And but it's, I can't do it all. So when the real attacks come, we need to have somebody there on the front lines. Okay. I don't know many mortals who can undergo this much scrutiny and still do mental gymnastics in order to win the game for everyone. I don't know if that is a dig or a prop, but hey, there you go. People do think that. Thanks, Maddie. I'm using it weekly now. Hey, time pays me? Monthly. There you go. Awesome. Well done. Congrats. Let's see. Bugs, what's going on? Good to see you there. Unplug Dad. Are we going to have a watch party? I'm not sure. Thank you for all you do, Maddie. Hey, thank you, that Pulse Playa, for the $6.99 super chat. Thank you for all you do, Maddie. If RH needed for council app Roval to use SAC funds, in my opinion, no reason to not stream thoughts. Oh, approval. Duh. Okay. Sorry. If he needed council approval to use SAC funds, There you go. That's a great point. This is not a voting situation. The SAC funds are not your funds. Great point. Yeah, he doesn't have to live stream either. He doesn't ask for permission. It's here we are in crypto. Permissionless-ish. Is there a PulseChain on-ramp you can suggest? I like Coinbase, buy USDC or Ethereum, transfer to MetaMask. Once you understand self-custody and the risks and advantages there, you never share your seed words with anyone, even if they claim they're from support. They are scamming you. And you write them down in multiple places, and anybody who finds those seed words, they have access to your account. So you want to take that seriously. But you don't, you know, if you lose the words, your crypto can never be recovered. So understanding that power and responsibility, with great gains comes great security and accountability. So you send from Coinbase to MetaMask on the Ethereum network, and then you pay a high fee to bridge into PulseChain using pulsechain.com. And we talked about it on the Game Theory Gang episode. You can kind of scroll through this episode from 2 days ago, and you can wait to see where I pulled up my screen and I walked through the steps, and I did it live to take money from Coinbase, put it on MetaMask, then use the bridge, and then use the swapping features to buy PulseChain and HEX and all those cool things, PulseX. So look, when Bitcoin was only $1, if you wanted to get it, you couldn't just click a couple buttons. You had to get a money order and send it to Japan. Or you can mine it. Like, there were different ways, but they weren't easy is the point. And buying Bitcoin has gotten easier over time. So if you bought Bitcoin when it was hard to buy it, you were early. And maybe now you're early with PulseChain. So if it takes effort, that doesn't mean it's a failure. It just means in some cases you're early. What's up, Tam Tam? Good to see you. What's up, Drix? Good to catch you live. Hey, thanks, Jay Kurt. What's up, Grandpa Pulse? Good to see you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it. My dad is having surgery. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope the surgery goes well. Your family will be in our prayers. Liked on entry, says Chris. Thank you. Freaky Friday pump, maybe. Let's do it. So, yeah, I mean, have we talked about the fact the origin address bought 100,000, 110,000 Ethereum? It's $500 million worth of Ethereum. Ethereum is primed to pump. This is, nobody's exactly sure what the plan is here, but hey, it's going to make for a really exciting bull run, you might think. Yes, Maddie, I was at your conference with no stress with HEX. It's here to save the world. Remember stress balls. Yes, Susie Q. It was great to meet you, and I hope we can do more events in the future. Brian Miles, I'm here for when the price defies everyone's expectations and melts their face off. That's right. Pamp it, Richard. Blackaroni, what's going on? PulseChain official, throwing the hearts. Let's see. Can't be a top buyer when it's not the top. Super Hex win. Great to see you there. I hope you're around Vegas and things are going well. Hopefully I'll run into you tomorrow at the seminar. It'd be cool. Validator Dashboard, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thanks, Maddie, for all you do and have done for this community. We are all launching in the near future. May have to use your catchphrase when we launch. Boom. Katie is an awesome young woman. I enjoy her streams. Likewise. Vanilla the Hexakin. Shouldn't people study how they cash out and hide all that stolen money from the tax man. Everybody has different beliefs about taxes. I have a good record of paying my taxes, and there are different ways that people can use strategies that are outlined by the IRS. Different people live in different countries. We don't get too much into taxes on this channel because it's not tax advice and it's a global audience. I will say that tax loss harvesting in a bear market can be beneficial if you do it right and you follow the rules. You know, like being able to do blockchain analysis so you can go back and see what your cost basis was for buying and selling. That's important. The tax software, it's getting better every year, but it's not like, it's not super easy, but it's not super hard. It's somewhere in between. There was a great segment on a show called What the HEX today with Papa B and Peter the Hexkin and Toby Wan, Hexobi. And it was full of laughter. They were cracking me up. They gave really sensible advice about taxes, detailed information about how some people might be able to use their sacrifice in a way that advantages their taxes greatly from 2023. So if you're doing your 2023 taxes, you live in the US, and you don't go see what Papa B and them have to say, and they want you to use a certified CPA and all that, but you have to know what to tell the CPA about what you even did. You need to know what the law of the land is, what the rules are, and how you can be advantaged. So I didn't even realize this, this tax logic thing that they explained. And again, I'm going to refer you to their channel. I'm going to bring up the link here. Even if you're watching on replay, which thousands of people do, you can open up the live stream comments, even if you're on replay, and you can see the link that I drop in the chat. It's going to take me just a second to grab this link. I have to go into my history. What the HEX, episode 58 on YouTube. All right. I just dropped that link in the chat. I watched Trading Places, good movie. Hey, that's awesome. That's one I recommended when I was describing Sudden Wealth Syndrome on KDP's channel. HEX is not coming back, boys. No good on-ramps left. Uniswap banned it. Yikes. Well, I guess the party's over. Pack it up. We're going home. Look, I think Uniswap banning it, that was a dick move. And, but, I still believe long-term. I think that the future's bright. You don't have to believe that. Everybody's welcome to their own. This one's trash. Gamble with other coins. Hey, there were people that came in to HEX and they saw people who had been holding for 2 years through 70% dips and people who were time locking for 15 years. And they thought to themselves, they're like, I want to buy that coin, HEX, at 25 cents, at 50 cents, at 30 cents. They said, I want to buy it and I want to hold it, not for 2 years, not for 15 years. I want to hold it way less than anybody else. And I want to sell it for a profit. And that's called trading. And HEX, it's actually designed to benefit people who are not trading. And sure, it would be great if the price of HEX was way more stable, but then it wouldn't have volatility to the upside. So if you didn't understand what the design of the token was and that it's not meant to be held liquid, and if you're holding it liquid, you're doing so at great risk, and sometimes that pays off, like people who bought 5 cents and sold for 50 cents, congratulations to you. There are other people, they're playing long-term games. Some people, they're playing short-term games, and everybody's welcome to play. But you're you're the one who hits the buy and sell button, willing buyer, willing seller. And again, like, it sucks. It sucks to lose money. It sucks to trade. HEX sucks if you're not, Hex sucks if you're playing with money that you can't afford to hold. So CowSwap gives extra tokens and protections from MEV bots. That's correct. Go to cow.fi. That's COW.FI. That's where I buy my HEX. Maddie, calm really is a secret weapon for Hex. What say you, my friend? You know, I think calm like it's really special. It didn't have a sacrifice. It's a free claim for people. You know, so it's given only to people who are doing good behaviors in Hex, good staking behavior. I've had the founder of the token on the channel. I've had brilliant minds like Johnny Sachs, Axis Live, who talk about it. For me, I'm kind of neutral on it. I see it having more volatility. I think it has an interesting like V3 ladder liquidity strategy that probably allows it to perform better on the upside than the downside. Over time, maybe, but you know, it's like some people are really excited about it. The Real Godwell claimed his just a couple weeks ago, so we've talked about it, and I think it's worth claiming. And then, you know, whether you're using it to get more Hex or to stake more long term or to reward your good staking behavior, whatever it is, or maybe you're, you know, buying popcorn with your gains. You know, whatever it is. Hey, Maddie and fam, RH is in the pilot seat, taking us back to the moon. That's right. What's up, Tarnwig? Good to see you there. Whitney Magic, hey, how's it going? Hey from Vegas. See ya at karaoke. What is up? Whitney Magic, great personality in the space. She has a YouTube channel. You should subscribe. Anthony Roberts, if bridging small amounts can use BNB. Oh, that's great. Crypto Ape, good to see you, Maddie. Likewise. Hey, Maddie and everyone, I hope you're having fun. Swearworks, there are tools like Bisq and HODL to buy Bitcoin in a DeFi way, but it takes more effort and more planning to build a BTC stack. You can then move into Hex, PLS, etc. But it is a possible on-ramp. You sound stuffy. Well, my voice is a little bit burnt out because of speaking so much to people in real life. Also, here in Las Vegas, there are a lot of people smoking, and so I think my throat's a little bit sore from that, the secondhand smoke. But I'm feeling great. I think whenever I go to a crypto meetup, I have high energy, and then it's a wild ride. It's very exhausting to be so happy to be around everybody. I meant those scammers that sold the Pulse, but yeah, probably international. What the hex? Good stream today. That's right. I think RH buying ETH now seems like free marketing for RH coins because big crypto whales track big buys and everyone is talking about RH buying ETH. I think maybe the timing is intentional by RH. There you go. Interesting view, Mersal. I was thinking like everybody only talks about Michael Saylor because of how much he buys. So there you go. ETH bros, you're welcome for crypto for my daughters. That's a cool screen name. Where can I find the best tutorial on Time Pays Me? Great question. The best tutorial on Time Pays Me is at x.com/timepaysme. There's a tutorial thread that's pinned, and it doesn't go into everything, but it shows you the testnet, it shows you the audit, it shows you step by step how to set up a vault. It shows you pretty much what you need to know in order to set up a second seed phrase, how to get a Trezor. All these things are in that tutorial thread that's pinned on the Twitter profile for Time Pays Me. Great question. And I think there could be more tutorial stuff, but so far people have been doing really well. They're able to do it themselves using that. And then really more of like the theory and like the deep, talk about how significant it is in crypto history to be able to undo a hack, to be able to pay your future self, time lock any token, use behavior locks to reward your own good behavior. I mean, that's way beyond the scope of the tutorial, but at some point I would like to put together a huge manual that has a chapter on game theory, has a chapter on psychology, has a chapter on Sun-Well syndrome and all these different things. I have written a couple chapters about Time Pays Me so far, so we're on our way. Thanks for the link, Maddie. My pleasure. I literally started Trading Places last night. Yeah, great movie, everybody. Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. It's a story not only of kind of Sun-Well syndrome, but it shows the psychology of how your environment and your people, places, and things can influence your behavior and your life. So it's not so much what is inside of each of us that makes us who we are, but it's what environments we're in. And that underscores the importance of making choices that build a healthy environment for you. Because if you're an unhealthy person, it's likely not your fault, although it is your responsibility to get healthier by going to places and meeting people one by one, step by step, that helps you to be surrounded by people who are doing the right thing. And then you're more influenced to do the right thing. It's really fascinating how people kind of misjudge behavior change and think, oh, that's just how you are. If you're a certain way, if you're a depressed person, that's because of something inside of you. No, it's because of something around you. So really great movie. It doesn't like go deep into that, but it shows a very good illustration, and it's a funny movie, and it has to do with finance. A lot of traditional finance bros reference it, and it takes place in Chicago. Hi, all. Driving back from Bakersfield tonight. Could not get to Vegas this time. We will have more meetups in the future. Hoping you'll make it then. Audience of 800 plus. Crushing it, Maddie. Again, I hope whoever is boosting the numbers on Twitter is not breaking the rules. And on YouTube, I think we have still a normal, healthy size audience. And shout out to everybody who's watching. We have 194 watching on YouTube, and on Twitter. Looks like there are 600 or more instances of views. HEX could never move up again. And if you're making more than 20% APY, then you're crushing it in the stock market. Okay, yeah, if HEX goes sideways, still a pretty good deal, isn't it? So you can crush their stock market gains by staking HEX, but no one is going to buy and stake. Oh, yeah, I think it's just misinterpreting the comment. But at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes people like to conceptualize the potential of HEX. If you're valuing your wealth in HEX, you're not looking at the dollar price, or you're doing a thought experiment to say, what if the dollar price of HEX stayed the same? We know it's not going to stay the same unless there continues to be perfect buy and sell demand, right? Which can happen sometimes. There is a buy wall right now on EHEX, or a sell wall, I mean, which is keeping it at about a penny. And then once that gets chewed through, then the price could rocket up much higher, or it can always dump. It's up to the buyers and the sellers. Some people ask, why do you do a show that isn't so good at onboarding people, but it's good at keeping people around and staying interested in the community, staying interested in this deep thought, this deep experiment with money. It's never been done before. Crypto has never existed except for the past 15 years. HEX has only existed for 4 years, and we're only into the first third of this first 15-year experiment. So far, the results are stunning. Not not everything was predicted. Some predictions are coming true, some aren't. And so I think if you understand that the dollar price of HEX will have extreme volatility to the upside and downside, that's important to understand. If you value your wealth and the number of HEX tokens you have, which doesn't translate to purchasing power unless the price goes up a lot or stays the same. Look, it's a different way of understanding your balance. Right now, I have more Pulse and PulseX than I've ever had. And I'm trying to not look at the dollar value. I'm trying to look at the number of tokens. It's been lots of exciting things happening with Inc. I wish I would have just thrown all of that into Time Pays Me. But then again, I wouldn't have been able to yield farm it. I do have some Inc in Time Pays Me, but that's another thing we did on this last Tuesday show is we gave an example of how to yield farm and earn Inc. $10 super chat from Sergey. Maddie, agree to disagree. Having said that, I think you're awesome. Your consistency on HEX and Pulse is commendable. Also, I like this angle for your camera. This is a good look for you, bro. Hey, I really appreciate it. Everybody can see now that being positive to people, even if we disagree, can have really good outcomes. And I thank you for the super chat. I thank you for the compliments. And yeah, thanks for the feedback on the camera angle. I will definitely take a note of that. I'm always trying to improve. I think the lighting here is a little bit different here in this hotel room. And yeah, the better production quality, I think I enjoy that as a viewer. I am an avid viewer of other HEX streamers. And so I appreciate that. 40 years old for Trading Places. That movie has stood the test of time. I hope HEX and crypto do the same. The $1 bet by the brothers. Yikes. That's correct. Oh man, that's kind of the framing, is these evil billionaires or whatever, multimillionaires. The premise of the movie is they take their CEO, their trading CEO, and they trade places with him. Like they take him and turn him into being homeless, and then they take a homeless person and they make him CEO. And then there's like Sunwell syndrome, and Eddie Murphy's trying to I'm not going to spoil the movie, but yeah, it's worth watching. And then come to find out it was all a $1 bet. Maddie, what are B shares? Do they exist? Probably refers to 1 billion shares of HEX, which is 1,000. So that's it's 1,000 times less than a T share. And a T share stands for 1 trillion shares. The basic idea is it's counting the amount of compound interest share that you have in the future. And the only way to get T shares to earn the future inflation of HEX is to time lock your HEX, to burn it using the smart contract. So there you go. So like if you had 1 T share, then you would have 1,000 B shares, I believe. And if you had 1/10 of a T share, you'd have 100 B shares. It's just a different unit of the same thing. HEX pays out 20%. Pretty sure we're going up from here. Well, that doesn't always follow. Looking good, feeling good. Mortimer, that's right. Well, hey guys, I really appreciate the chance to stream and talk about this exciting time in crypto, to talk about the PulseChain Tour meetup that I'm attending as a happy participant and not an organizer this time. So thanks again to everybody who's planned this. Really enjoying meeting people in real life. I think we'll have more opportunities in the future to do meetups and conferences. We have the PulseChain conference.com that I'm hosting online coming up here May 10th through 13th for the 1-year anniversary of PulseChain launching. We have we have a HEX meetup at the Bitcoin conference. that I'm also going to be hosting coming up here. And that's at the end of July 25th to 27th, I believe, in Nashville. So lots of cool things. And then I might put on one other event before the end of 2024. TBA. So there you go, folks. RH is bullish. I believe he put out the most important financial tweet of the decade. And that is that Bitcoin's going to do better than the dollar. Ethereum is going to do better than Bitcoin. PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, and Inc. are going to do better than Ethereum. And that's all from today's prices. So there you go. Can we use Time Pays Me on another chain or with any other coin? You can DM me to get a coin added if it's not on there, to get a token added. The smart contract supports any ERC or PRC20 token. So that includes Ethereum. It includes Pulse. It includes all the tokens on Ethereum and all the tokens on Pulse. We're not on any other chains. Thank you for the stream. My pleasure. Now that Inc has gone up, I don't mind the PLSX Inc LP pool, even though it's lower APY. Inc goes up, I get more PLSX, vice versa. There you go. Well, good stuff here, people. We got a bright future to look forward to. So hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. Does emotional, feel good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.